What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the JERRY1 Podcast. This is episode number 33, and I'm recording this on Tuesday, September 14th, 2021. You're watching this on YouTube, Wednesday, September 15th, 2021, or you're listening to this on wherever this is listed out at. I think it's at 6 places. I think it's on Apple Podcasts, plus iTunes, Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, and Breaker. And I'm certain that they're on there. So if you're listening on there as well, so welcome in to episode 33 of the JERRY1 Podcast. I'm Nick Felice. This is episode 33. I've said it like 100 times, but if you're watching this on YouTube, the sun is blaring right on my face, and that means something's bright out there, and there's some bright sides on the fantasy football side of things. And including on my side, because I pulled out a win last night, Monday Night Football. Darren Waller coming up huge to knock off Jeremy. So happy about that. Not happy about what happened on Sunday as my baseball team, number 1 seed, got eliminated. Tough to swallow. Lost to the 4 seed, Larry Morris. 1 seeds might be a little bit of a curse in JERRY1 as the 1 seed has lost in 4 straight JERRY1 playoffs. Andrew lost in football as the 1 seed in the semifinals. Justin Kiefer lost as the 1 seed in the fantasy hockey semifinals. Blake Crawford lost as the 1 seed in the fantasy basketball semifinals, and now I've lost as the 1 seed in the semifinals of fantasy baseball. So that's 4 straight 1 seeds to lose in the semifinals. Not good. But Fletcher and Larry, they're in this year's fantasy baseball finals. We're going to talk about that, even though today's podcast is mostly a football-driven podcast, because today's guest is back on the pod for his 3rd time. Justin Hlywa is on the podcast today, and he had an interesting fantasy football matchup last night that also concluded on Monday Night Football. Him and Pat, they were the 2 worst scorers in Week 1. But Justin had a shot to win that game. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk to Justin. We're going to talk about what he's got planned for this season. So that's episode 33. We're just getting going. JERRY1 Podcast, fantasy football, fantasy baseball. It's going to be good. The finals are here in fantasy baseball. Flex versus Larry. Going to be good. Me versus Matt in 3rd place. But here we go. Episode 33 of the JERRY1 Podcast starts right now. Justin's going to come on in a second. But first, let's get you ready for this conversation with Justin with a little bit of a week 1 into week 2 fantasy football talk. Yep, let's pull it up right now. You got the standings there. How about my brother, number 1 in scoring week 1? Then you got, no surprise, Jaron Johnson third. The surprise, I might be second place, is Kurt Ireland. It's the only newbie. There's 3 newbie owners in this year's JERRY1 Fantasy Football League. Kurt, Sam, and Justin Kiefer. Kurt, the only one to win in week 1, and boy, did he play well. Second in scoring, right there up with Jaron, who won it last year, and Matt. He's been the scoring. He's been a scoring threat for a long time in this league. So, good to see Kurt. Get that first career win. Justin Kiefer, Sam. They didn't get their first career wins as Justin Kiefer lost to Kurt. And then Sam, playing Fletch, off a great season in baseball, trying to win a championship, gets the win over Sam. Sam, it's not that easy, is it? So, you expect Sam to come into this league and be a threat. That has not been the case here in week 1. Fletch beat him pretty easily, I would say. Jaron, though, had to come back against Andrew. Andrew had that great Thursday night, opening night. Dak Prescott, Amari Cooper, the top scorer in week 1 overall. So, but Jaron had to battle back. That's why he's the champ. That's why he's the defending champ. He comes back to beat Andrew in week 1. So, big win for Jaron. He's the champ. Someone's got to dethrone him this year. I play him this week, so that's going to be a huge game. As I said in the intro, I beat Jeremy. Jaron Waller came up huge for me. And then, of course, Justin, Pat, low scoring, as you probably have seen already over on the side. Low scoring affair. Pat sneaks out the win. Could have been a tie. Justin had the kicker. He had the Raiders kicker, Carlson. He had the Ravens defense last night, so he was losing points while his kicker was kicking points. So he got crazy. He didn't know if Pat was going to be, he was going to win, Justin was going to win, or they were going to tie. It was low scoring, but it was still exciting on the first Monday night of the year. And the other matchup of the week was Matt beats Josh. I mentioned a little bit of Matt top scoring. Josh now 9th unlucky week since he joined the league, which is the most. Jeremy second with 8. So that's since the start of the 2017. Josh has 9 unlucky weeks. So that is just, it's only fitting for how a season would start, but you would like to see that trend stop and start adding more wins in the win column. Andrew also got an unlucky week in week 1. Andrew played as good as he did all last season. You got to remember, Andrew only lost twice all last regular season. What is he going to do this year? He's 10-2 last year. He's 0-1 this year. So it's intriguing to see what Andrew does. We've known his struggles in week 1. Andrew was not the best player in week 1. Neither is myself. But Andrew's got a good team. He's going to always be a threat, and he's coming home here. He's come back to the States, I believe, this weekend. So we'll see how he plays, not in China anymore. So that plays a lot of effect. Now, on the fantasy side of things, the scoring, now your household running back names. I think that's how you started with maybe Jamal Williams and DeAndre Swift in the top 5 and running backs. Those were not the top 5 picks. Where's Barkley? I think it's a lot of big running back names like Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, Ezekiel Elliott. They did not. It's clear as day. They did not play well in week 1. And the quarterbacks. We're going to talk to Justin about Aaron Rodgers. 1 point in week 1. What are we going to do there? Jameis Winston. What does Pat do with him? He's got Josh Allen. He's got Jameis Winston. The way Winston played in week 1, do you play him? I help with Pat scoring. Big year out of Pat. So right now, if the season ended today, the playoffs would be 1 seed Matt would have 4 seed Fletch and 5 seed myself on that side of the bracket, which fantasy baseball right there. And then you got 2 seed Kurt playing 3 seeded Jaron and playing 6 seeded Pat. So that would be the playoffs right now. I forgot to do this last week, so we're gonna we're going to wind it down. I'm going to make my predictions. Usually I do this before, each draft. This year I'm going to make my predictions after week 1. And it's kind of, hey, you can knock on me, whatever. It's my podcast. But here's my predictions for the season. I'm going to predict the number 1 overall seed will be Matt. I think he's got the number 1 seed right now. I think he'll be the number 1 seed when the time comes. Number 2 seed, I think it's going to be Jaron. Jaron's going to be the number 2 seed. I think on his side of the bracket, number 3 seed is going to be Andrew. The number 4 seed is going to be myself. I'm going to be the number 4 seed. The number 5 seed, I think, is going to be Fletch. I think it's going to be number 5 seed. And the number 6 seed, sneak it into the playoffs. I just played him this week, so I'm pretty high on him. I still think he can sneak into the playoffs. I got Jeremy, number 6 seed. I know Kurt. Everyone's high on Kurt after week 1. But I just think experience will come in effect. This is the 11th year of the league. I think the 3 newbies will be struggling. Pat, Justin, and Josh. I'm sorry I don't have you in the playoffs, but here's my playoff predictions. I think with the 3 seed, we'll do the 4-5 first. The 4-seeded Fletch, or the 4-seeded me versus the 5-seeded Fletch. So, and then Matt's the 1 seed. So it's pretty close to what it is right now. But I got myself winning over Fletch. I wanted that in baseball, but here it is. Here it is in football. Me, Matt, semifinals. Other side of the bracket, 3-seeded Andrew taking on 6-seeded Jeremy. Rematch of the 2019 finals. But I got Andrew winning once again and advancing to the semifinals. And then in this year's finals, I got me pulling off the upset over Matt. And then I got Jaron beating Andrew, as this is a week 2 matchup in the finals, but it's also a rematch of the finals. Over in 3rd place game, I got Matt beating Andrew. And then in the finals, I got Jaron beating me again. I know it's hard to say it, but I have Jaron winning this league again over me in the finals. I know it's kind of, biased. I like to hear what your guys' predictions are. That would be cool. But I got me and Jaron in the finals again. I think Jaron's got a good team again. I think he beats me again. Those are my predictions. But back over to football talk. Let's just to wrap it up. Quarterbacks, running backs, Kyler Murray's a stud for Kirk's team. There's no doubt about that. There is no doubt about that. And running backs, it's always been top heavy, but let's see some of the top heavy guys, bounce back in week 2. So that's one thing to look out for. Darren Waller's the best tight end in the league. At me. Fantasy wise, he is. Wide receivers, on the other hand, it's hit or miss right now with wide receivers. They're so deep. You can see so many guys that could step up, like Jamar Chase, who we're going to talk about with Justin's team in the second year. So the rookie there out of Cincinnati, or not out of Cincinnati, but he's with the Cincinnati Bengals. And so, it's interesting times. Defenses, a lot of good defenses in week 1 on the free agents. Same with kickers. So we'll see what people do on the first waiver wire, which when this comes out, it already happened. But we'll see what people do on that first waiver wire. So that's it for football week 1. I know we're just getting into it. It's good stuff. I can't wait to see how this plays out. But me and Jaron, I think, can go back to the finals this year. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if my prediction's right. But it's come to that point in the show where it's that time, the conversation with Justin Hlywa. That's why you turned on the show, to watch the conversations. And here it is, my conversation with Justin. Enjoy. Today's guest is back on the pod for his 3rd time. It's been quite some time since he's been on the pod, but we did take a break. He just entered his 17th season in JERRY1 Fantasy Sports, his 11th season on the football side of things. Justin Hlywa. Justin, how's it going?
How you doing, sir? The best commissioner around. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for coming on. So let's just get right into it. Football week 1 is in the books. Boise Bombers, that's your team. 0-1. It was a wild week 1 matchup, I'll say, with you and Pat. I mean, the what came down to your matchup was you had the Ravens defense, you had Carlson, the kicker for the Raiders. So there was him trying to kick you points, Ravens losing points because he's kicking you points. So we weren't sure if you were going to beat Pat or Pat was going to win or you were going to tie. And then it got crazy at the end there. There was a chance at a tie, but then they just started throwing for the touchdown. So, yeah, just let me get your overall thoughts from that week 1 matchup versus Pat.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers, I think, is the highlight of it. 1 point from the MVP. It's like, what am I drafting you for? If that's what you're gonna do, we need some more production out of that. But it was a fun night. I wish Gruden just kicked the 1 kick in the beginning. So I think I would have won if that happened, or at least tied. But Pat's always a low scoring game. You score 80, you're gonna lose either way. So we both got lucky that we played each other.
Yeah, and that was your 6th straight loss against Pat, which it's kind of tough to take. But when we say 6 straight losses, we can never not bring up that you have 6 straight wins against Jaren. So we always.
Oh, I didn't know that. It's a good stat. Thank you.
Yes, even though you have 6 straight losses against Pat, you have 6 straight losses against Jaren. So that's really all that matters.
That is.
But 80 points is what you finished with in a PPR league. 2nd year of PPR is not great. That is
terrible.
That is last in scoring. I mean, no one likes to be last in scoring for a week, but what? I think you've already touched on it. What went wrong in week 1?
Mike Evans laying an egg. I think he was a little banged up. You didn't hear much of my scouts didn't get that information to me. Aaron Rodgers doing what he did. You hate to see that. And then, my bench kind of, Jamar Chase, I didn't think he'd do as good as he did week 1, and he did. So, he's got himself a starting role. We're going to make a couple waiver moves. We'll be all right.
Yeah, week 1's always the toughest decisions because you want to play the guys you drafted, but, and then you could look at matchup-wise and, you went with the guys you drafted. So it's tough. It's a tough week to set your lineup, definitely. But your draft, just a couple weeks ago, you took Nick Chubb. I think week 1, no doubt, he's your star player. He took him 11th overall, which is always tough, to have a late first-round pick like that in our first-year 12-man league. Then you take Eckler 14th, so you went running back heavy. Then you take Evans with the 3rd pick, your 3rd-round pick, which I still think will be a great pick. But it was definitely running back heavy at the top, and then deep wide receivers. I think that's what you did, and that's explain your draft a little bit.
Yeah, Chubb's a good pick. He'll be reliable. Eckler, you hope he can get some catches, and didn't get 1 catch week 1, so that kills you. So hopefully they look for him more. That was kind of a weird game. They were going back and forth. I hope we, just hope we get it together. It's not, Jamar Chase, I think will be good for us. Allen Robinson, tough week 1 matchup with Jalen Ramsey. Probably should have benched him, but it's hard to sit star power for especially guys that are on new teams. Jamar Chase, a rookie, and then Marvin Jones, new team with Trevor Lawrence. So just try to, play my stars and hope it worked out. And, you live and you learn.
Yeah, Washington's a tough defense too for Eckler. That's a tough first week matchup for him.
Bad matchups. We'll bounce back.
Yeah, Nick Chubb though, I had him last year. You're probably gonna deal with this so much. I think he already did a little bit. Kareem Hunt, he plays a lot.
He does.
Like, Nick Chubb could score way more points if he could get more touches and not give him some to Kareem Hunt. So yeah, you're gonna be a Kareem Hunt hater by the end of the season.
Yeah, there was one time where Nick Chubb ran from the 10 to like the 6 and the 6 to the 3, and they took Nick Chubb out and gave it to Kareem Hunt, and he ran it in the next play. So, that's the frustration right there for sure.
Did you know who you were going to take at 11 when you saw you had the 11th pick hours before the draft?
Yeah. It was between a couple people. I like Chubb. I think there was one back that went before that I was really liking, but that next pick was kind of up in the air. I was thinking the Steelers, Najee Harris, but they didn't look too good week 1. Obviously, the Bills have a tough defense, but I just knew. I told you, in the weeks we were talking that I had to go running back. I didn't want to reach for a quarterback, and I didn't really reach for a quarterback, but I drafted Rodgers probably 5th, 6th round, and that backfired. Probably should have just held out longer for a QB.
Yeah. So Rodgers, you got him 62nd overall. He's currently the only QB on your roster. when we're recording this on Tuesday, it is waiver day today. First waiver day of the regular season. I mean, probably shouldn't make a waiver move on a quarterback, but
No.
what's the plan for this quarterback spot
I
here?
mean, I have faith in him. He's said it before. RELAX. Relax. He's he'll get around. Saints. I think Saints are just a good team, and I don't know. I honestly don't know why they played so bad. It was definitely uncharacteristic, but I'm making some waiver moves that might be a historic move in the league. We'll see. I don't think anyone's going to go for what I did. So,
Really? So
when
right
when
before
will when will this be released? This episode after
6 p.m. tomorrow, it'll be out.
When are the waivers clear? Tomorrow morning, right?
Yeah, tomorrow morning. So you can
Yeah.
say it.
Yeah, I'm going for a defense. I'm going for the Saints defense. Baltimore. I didn't like what I saw last night. They gave up like 500 yards. So,
Well, that's
and I
good.
was
You could say that to me because I have the Steelers defense. I ain't not going for no
right.
defense. So yeah, so maybe he's got Saints defense by the time this comes out.
Thank you. And I think everyone's going for that running back for the 49ers. So, just depends on where you are to get that.
Yeah, it wasn't the running back you thought would be at the top of the league after week one. There was two Detroit guys in the top five with Swift and Jamal Williams there, but
Yeah, Williams is second. I think he had 26 points, 25 points.
yeah. But Christian McCaffrey still the top of the class. But speaking of the guy you played week one, Pat with Saquon Barkley, what do you think about Barkley and Pat?
That's a tough injury, especially for a running back and like I said, to Kurt about Kenny Galladay, I think the Giants line is just awful. And, Daniel Jones, obviously he's not the best either. It's just, don't need to hate on your Giants, but I just don't think they got a rough season ahead of them. I just think a lot of question marks around that offense.
Yeah, Daniel Jones, I'm not sold.
He just can't take care of the football. Like he fumbles it too much.
Yeah, Eli used to do that a lot too, but you gotta do other parts of the game.
Big Thursday night game this week.
Yeah, it should be a good one. But Jamar Chase, yeah, I think you've told me in our messages to each other, he's gonna be in your starting lineup the rest of the season. Can you confirm this?
He is at the flex right now, especially with the Carolina Panthers. They play the Saints next week, so I'm not going to play Robbie. I mean, he only had one catch, but it was for a 6-yard bomb. So yeah, we'll. Sorry, my dad's brought me some food. But
no problem. We are live here.
But yeah, I mean, I like him. I mean, he looked good. He had 7, 8 targets. Obviously he had 100 yards, 5 catches. I mean, obviously him and Joe Burrow got the chemistry. I just, who saw that coming week one? You usually want to, you want to let that materialize a little bit and see where it goes. But he earned it. Welcome to starting lineup, kid.
Yeah. So week two, let's move on to week two. You play. One of the more shocking results, I would say, in week one is the way Kurt Ireland fared in week one, scoring 100, I believe 143 to just absolutely destroy the other Justin. The two Justins struggling in the league right now after 1 week, but it's only 1 week. 14-week regular season we have now. Would you say 0-2 is not as deadly as it was in the 12-week season?
Yeah, I'd agree with that statement for sure. You definitely don't want to go 0-2. You're digging a hole. I think in the actual NFL, if you go 0-2, it's like a 20-30% chance you make the playoffs. So I definitely don't want to lose to Kurt either. His first year in the league, but he has a good team. Kyler Murray looked unbelievable last week, and then that Hopkins the Murray combo that could get him 50 points every week. At least 40. So he's got a good team. Kid, I advocated for him to be in the league, and I think he's proven it from day one. We're happy to see it.
Yeah. So and 6 playoff teams this year. So 0-2 is not crazy. We saw Paul, who's not in the league anymore, 0-5. He made it in a 12 weeks regular season. So that was crazy. But hopefully no 0-2 against Kirk this week for you. But I don't know if you've seen your schedule. Your first 7 weeks, I mean, well, let's just talk about weeks 8 through 11. I know it's a while away, but weeks 8 through 11, you play Jaron, Matt, Andrew, and Josh. Those are the last 4 champions in this league. So the first 7 weeks this season, you're playing not the last 4 champions in this league. We've already seen you lose to Pat. You got Kurt this week. 7 weeks against not the last 4 champions in this league. What does the record have to be in these first 7 weeks?
No, I'd hope to win, next 6 of the next 7. Hopefully, that's the goal, but it's football. It's gonna happen. I think I gotta beat Kurt. Let me look at my schedule. I think I play I play
Fletch and Jeremy next 2 weeks after
that. I mean, Jeremy looked all right. I think final standing projections, he's still projected last, which I don't understand that. But if you see the IMBD Watson trade proposes, you'll understand that a little more. I don't know what they're doing with their algorithm.
No, I don't know. But terrible.
But yeah, I mean, I try to win every week. That's the goal. You don't want to accumulate losses. A lot of good fantasy players in this league. They know what they're doing. Matt's got a good team every freaking year. So
I've asked you. I think I asked you this last year. Who's the biggest threat in this league?
I'd say Matt. I think Matt every year. He's just consistent. He knows what he's doing. He's got Pat Mahomes every year somehow.
And he's got McCaffrey.
When did he draft him? He went McCaffrey, then Mahomes?
I think so. I think we had those 2 picks in a row, right? He had the number 1 overall pick.
Right.
I think he went McCaffrey. Yeah, his team just went off too this week. He drafted him 25th, so the 3rd round, but he had the snake there.
Second back-to-back pick, yeah. Yeah, I mean that's the quarterback to reach for, I guess. Definitely showed it. Should have, good for him, and we're looking forward to going into the Mariner Hawks 10.
Yeah, 6 playoff teams, 14-week regular season. Because we got to remember, Justin, you're the longest active playoff drought. You haven't made the playoffs since 2016 when you were over in Europe, and that was an 8-man league. You never made the playoffs during the 10-man league era. What does the record have to be to get this team in the playoffs this year?
So what is it? 6? How many weeks? You said 14.
14.
I mean, 10-4. I hope 9-5. I think at the least it's going to be close. I'd say anything below that, who knows this year. So that's the goal.
It's tough. What do you think of? Let me just throw out a team here. What do you think of Sam Shields' team?
Let me see. Let me take a look at the roster.
He lost to Fletch this week. It was pretty. Fletch was. Sam Shields. He's done so well in other JERRY1 leagues, but football is a different story.
I mean, I think for him, just the biggest thing, obviously Aaron Jones playing the way he did, you didn't see that coming. But I mean, just looking at his roster, Mixon played good, CeeDee Lamb, Lockett, he's got some studs for sure. I don't know how I feel about Claypool, but
what's your thoughts on this? Because we've seen you struggle at quarterback so far. We were worried about his quarterback at the beginning of the season. What are your thoughts on his QB situation?
I wouldn't have picked Carson Wentz. I'd say that, even though I'm, I used to be a diehard fan. But I mean, he didn't look terrible in week 1. He definitely, what do you have? 18 points, not better than 1 from the former MVP. So you can't hate too much. But he'll be on that waiver wire soon, I think.
I expect everyone to be on the waiver wire, especially you, Pat, Justin Kiefer, the guys that did not score 100 points in week 1. Better be doing something.
Yeah, it's rough in PPR not getting 100, but we'll bounce back. I think I'm projected 115, 120 next week. I was only projected like 103 this week. So bad matchups week 1. We're not, you don't want to beat yourself up too much.
Is this a rivalry between you and Kurt?
Yes, absolutely. There's me and Jaron at the top, and then me and Kurt will be a rivalry. Yeah. Friendly rivalry. There's no love lost between me and Jaron. We know that. Put that as your headline.
Yeah, even though Pat's won 6 straight, you and Pat have played an even matchup as well. And so have we. You got a lot of rivalries that, in this league. But still own Andrew, though. Still own Andrew.
That's easy money right there.
Even though he's been better. But All right, Justin. Anybody who comes on my podcast for a third time plays my new game. This game is called JERRY1 Millionaire, and it's a condensed version of Millionaire. And it's 10 questions from easy to harder, just like in Millionaire. You have 3 lifelines, 50-50, a hint, and a double shot, which is you get two shots at the answer. Can
I phone a friend?
No phone a friend. No. The checkpoints in this is 30 points and 60 points. So it goes 10, 20, 30, 40, all the way up to 100. That's basically it. Justin, are you ready to play?
I am ready. This is just JERRY1 trivia here?
Yes.
Okay.
Just basketball and football questions for you.
Thank you.
Your space sports team. So these first 3, do not overthink these. But just like Millionaire, you got multiple choice. So here we go. For 10 points. How many fantasy football finals have you been to? Is it A, 10 finals, B, 17 finals, C, 2 finals, or D, never been to the finals?
It would be 2 finals. Final answer.
Yeah, that is correct. Yes, you've been to 2 finals. 2012 lost to Paul, and 2016 lost to Jeremy. But you're moving on. 20-point question. Here we go. Who has Justin played the most in football out of these choices? Who have you played the most in football? Is it A, Kurt, B, Pat, C, Drake, or D, Abraham Lincoln?
Okay. Pat.
Final answer. Yeah, that is correct. Yes. You just played Pat. You just played Pat for the 22nd time. And you are 9-12-1. But you do have 1 playoff win back in 2012.
Thank you.
Over Pat. All right, here we go. Here to get to the checkpoint of 30 points. Keep in mind the top score is 60. 30-point question. Here we go. How many seasons have you played in fantasy basketball? Is it A, 26 seasons, B, 15 seasons, C, 5 seasons, or D, 2,468 seasons?
I'm going to go with 5 seasons.
Final answer?
Final answer.
Yeah, that is correct. Yeah, 5 seasons of fantasy basketball. You've been in it since the beginning. Year 6 coming up. How about that? Year 6 of fantasy basketball.
I can't wait for fantasy basketball. That's my strong suit.
Well, you've reached the checkpoint and you've reached the actual start of this game. So you're at 30 points. Here we go. 40-point question. Game's on. Do not forget about your lifelines. 50-50. Hint, double shot. Here we go. 40-point question. How many career wins do you have in fantasy football? Is it A, and this is regular season playoffs. Is it A, 36, B, 63, C, 41, D, 81?
63, final answer.
Yeah, that is correct. I don't know if you were going to think it was a little too high. I don't know.
I remember. I know
correct.
I'm like almost 500, I think.
I'm doing the stats right now, but with that loss this weekend's Pat, 63, 61, and 2 is your overall record. Over 500.
2 ties? Wow, I didn't remember tying.
Yes, you think you tied Josh last year, I think. I think you tied Josh last year, and I think it was Andrew. But
should have tied Pat last night.
Should have. But here we go. 50-point question now. We're getting really into it now. You have 3 playoff appearances in football. 3 playoff appearances. You've been to 2 finals. What year was the year you didn't make the finals, but you made the playoffs? Is it A, 2011, B, 2013, C, 2015, or D, 2017?
Ooh. I'm going to go 2013. Final answer.
Oh, not using a lifeline. Just going for it. And that is correct. Yes, it is 2013. Yes.
I know my history.
You're definitely the best to ever play this game right now. 2012, you made it. Lost in the finals. 2013, lost in the semifinals. And 2016, he lost the finals. So those are your 3 playoff seasons. We got to get that 4th here soon. But here's a big question. 60-point question. You could tie my college friend Nate with 60 points if you get this one right. You have 3 lifelines. What is the best seed that you've had in fantasy basketball? Is it the A, the 1 seed, B, the 2 seed, C, the 3 seed, or D, the 4 seed?
Whew. I'm going to use my 50-50, please. Wait, what are the other 2 lifelines?
A hint and a double shot where you get 2 guesses at it.
We'll go 50-50.
50-50. I'll help you out. I want you to get the 60. I will take away the 2 and the 4 seed. It is either the 1 seed or the 3 seed.
I'm pretty sure I might have been the 1. I don't know. That's a tough one. You know what? We'll go 1 seed. Final answer.
Final answer, 1 seed.
Yes.
And I'm so sorry, Justin. That is incorrect. It is not the 1 seed. I thought I could help you out by saying that, leaving the 1 seed out there. No, you've never been the 1 seed in fantasy basketball.
I thought it was the 1 or 2, to be honest. That's what I was thinking. So when the 2 went away, I was thinking 1 all day.
The 3 seed in 2017, 2018, you beat Q. There's a throwback. You beat Q in the first round. You're only playoff winning basketball. And you lost to Paul in the semis that year. How about that? But whoever comes on this game does get a shot at the 100-point question. At least a shot at it. You get to see what it is. And boy, is it tough. But here we go. 100 points. How many games in football? This is football, fantasy football. How many games did it take you to win 40 games? Is it A, 72 games, B, 73 games, C, 76 games, or D, 77?
Did I use a double shot lifeline?
You know what? Sure, why not?
All right, I'm going 76, and what do you say, 72?
72, 73, 76, 77.
76, 72.
All right. And those are both wrong. The correct answer is B, 73 games. It took you to win 40. Over 500, 73, 40. So you were 40 and 33 when you won your 40th game. Now you know that. So, but you do finish this game. You came just short of 60 points. So you finished with 30 points because you didn't make the checkpoint in Millionaire. But hey, you did a hell of a job. You got that 4th and 5th question with ease. I didn't expect that coming at all. Thanks for playing. But
thank you for having me. We'll try better next year.
Before I get you out of here on the pod, 2021 season outlook. What are expectations? What is the expectations for this team?
So we're gonna beat Kurt next week by 50 points. Gonna get the Bombers on fire. We're going to win 6 straight, and then we're going to clinch the 1 seed. We're going to win the title. It's about time. Our fans have been waiting. If not, we might be relocating, changing the team name next year.
To what? What would it go? Lockout with my cocks out? Is it coming back?
No. If a lockout happens, yes, that will be it. But we cannot disclose. There's some names in the wind, and we'll just we hope we don't have to do that because there's some loyal fans here.
What do you think of the buys? You think this team can get a buy? I know it's tough when you're in the 12th place spot right now, but can this team get a buy?
Is it 2 buys, right? I hope so. It's only 1 week playoff. I mean, that'd be huge.
It would be huge.
Excited. I think I do another league. We don't have buys in the 1 seed. With the 1 week playoff, anything can happen.
So, Justin, you're looking at Justin here, the new owner of the New Orleans Saints defense, hopefully.
Waiver move.
Yeah. Justin, I wish you the best of luck against Kurt and this entire season. I can't remember when you play me, but I don't wish you the best of luck that week. But Justin.
We'll tie.
Yeah. Justin, I wish you the best of luck, and thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me, sir. Have a great day, Commish.
I want to thank Justin for coming on. It was great to talk to him. It was a great conversation. Great to get his thoughts on that slow start to the season. But I think he can turn around, even though I didn't predict him to make the playoffs, but you can only predict 6. So I wish Justin the best of luck. I seriously do. But let's get right into fantasy baseball. It's the finals. I know fantasy baseball, it's tough. It is very, very tough because fantasy football, when they're playing in their playoffs, it's like, it's the middle of the regular season hockey and basketball. So that doesn't take over what's going on in the fantasy football playoffs. Fantasy football playoffs will still be the top thing. And then basketball and hockey, when they go to the playoffs, it's right before baseball starts. So they're still the spotlight of the leagues. Baseball playoffs, though, when it gets to the semifinals, late semifinals, finals, when it matters most, third place game, football kind of steals the spotlight. But I'm still here to hype up fantasy baseball as best as I can. Even though the Fleece brothers blew leads, Fletcher originally had won by 1 point in week one of the semifinals, but a stat correction gave Matt a 1 point win in week one, and I had the lead over Larry. We both blow our leads, even though Matt's a 1 point lead. It's not that big. But we both blow our leads. Fletch the 2 seed, and the 4 seed Larry come back to beat me and Matt. I get beat by Larry. Fletch beats Matt. So it sets up a Fletch Larry finals. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Yeah, us four have been the 4 best teams, scoring wise, seed wise, all season long. We deserve to be in the semifinals, and boy, was it a hell of a semifinals. It was back and forth. We're all about the same score. It wasn't the highest scoring semifinals that I was expecting, but it was still close and it was very tight. And you didn't know who was going to move on until last couple of days there with me and Larry, and then Fletch and Matt. It was great. Fletch won, I think, over the weekend. Big Saturday. Corbin Burns. He's a reason he's a top 10 player, top 10 pitcher in the league. Corbin Burns throws an 8-inning no-hitter. Brewers end up combined no-hitting the Cleveland Indians last Saturday. Huge, was the headliner to why Fletch beat Matt. Larry, on the other hand, Zach Wheeler. I tried to throw in Kyle Freeland to take out Zach Wheeler. Zach Wheeler's been too good for Larry all season long. That's why Larry's in the finals. We've had 11 champions in JERRY1 Fantasy Sports, 11 different owners, 20 active owners of those 11 have won a championship. Larry and Fletch are one of the 9 that have not even been to a finals until right now. So we will have a 12th different owner to win a championship in JERRY1 Fantasy Sports in the 22nd ever finals that we've seen in JERRY1 Fantasy Sports. So will it be Fletch? He's been the top name. He's been up there all season long. Larry's kind of played under the radar, middle of the pack of the playoff leagues teams. Is it Larry's year? Is he just going to, have his magical run, knock off the last 2 champions in this league, and Johnny in the first round, and then me in the semis? Is Fletch, is he destined, to beat Matt, to get that first postseason win? He's the last owner to not have a postseason win in JERRY1 Fantasy Sports. The last active owner to not have one. Is it Fletch? Is it Larry? It's hard to decide right now. Is on this Tuesday, it's only day 2 of the 14-day finals. Yeah, let me look up who's winning. I know I'm losing to Matt. I did see that. I was too busy with my Monday Night Football. Didn't get a chance to check out the other scores until right now as we speak. 29-13. Larry takes the lead over guaranteed money. Larry's been hit the Houston Astros name all season long. Fletch has been going out with these shot names, taking shots at owners. Says guaranteed money to Larry. Well, I thought it was guaranteed I was going to beat Larry. You can't guarantee anything in JERRY1 Fantasy Sports, especially baseball. It's going to be exciting stuff. I know it's not your household. You must see rivalries because Larry and Fletch have never met each other in person. But on the fantasy side of things, these are 2 owners that want to finally do what they've set out since they've joined the leagues. Win that first championship. Larry believes he has a good team. Fletch believes he has a good team. Only one can win this thing. Only one can walk away with the JERRY1 Fantasy Baseball most $260. That's some good beer money right there. So it's going to be good. If I had to make a prediction right here on day 2, I can't go against Fletch. Can't go against Larry. I'm picking Larry. I'm picking Larry Morris to win the finals. I think he's just got a magical run. He beat Johnny, beat me. He can beat Fletch. You could argue the way Fletch has played. It's only been 4 seasons in this league. You could argue Fletch is a top 3 owner in this league, just the way he played this year. So I don't know. I think it'd be a magical run. Why not Larry? You always thought Larry, because he never missed a basketball playoffs in 3 years. You thought basketball would be one. Baseball, I think he's got it. I got Larry. I got Zach Wheeler. I got them. And the Houston Asterix getting a on-asterisk type season championship. So that's going to be good. Me, Matt, obviously, I got myself over Matt. I think Matt's deflated. He thought he could have beat Fletch. I think he's deflated by the tough weekend. I got myself in a second straight third place game, which I can't argue with. It's still nice to not lose any money, but it should be good stuff. Fantasy baseball, final 2 weeks of the season are here and getting going. It's always tough because I look forward to fantasy baseball because I think it's the best I play in. I do enjoy it. I think it's my second favorite. Obviously, nothing can top football. It's my second favorite league. Basketball, we're trying to fix up the hockey league. Maybe that can jump basketball. I don't know. But baseball is definitely number 2 to me. So it's always tough to see the season come to an end, especially on the fantasy side of things. And it'll be back. It'll be back next spring. So it's not over yet. Larry Fletch, that's what we're working with. It's going to be some good, exciting stuff. Their first ever finals in any JERRY1 fantasy sport. And the first in football, obviously. So I got Larry winning. I know Fletch, if he watches this, he's gonna come at me if he does pull this out this window. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if Fletch won. He's been one of the best teams all season. I say one of the best. I was the best. But things happen. One seeds are struggling. That's crazy. That's crazy that the one seeds keep losing. One seed Andrew lost in football in 2020. One seed Justin Kiefer lost in hockey 2021. And one seed Blake lost in 2021 basketball. And now 2021 baseball, I lose as a one seed. All in the semifinals. Blake did come back to win the third place game. Andrew came back to win the third place game as well. Hockey. So hopefully I can do it as well. Win the third place game at least. But we will see what happens. I got Larry. That's fantasy baseball. That's it for the podcast. Episode 33 is in the books. We talked fantasy football as we head into week 2 this weekend. Fantasy baseball's first weekend of the semifinal. First weekend of the finals and third place game is this weekend as well. I want to thank Justin Hlywa for coming on. It was great to have Justin on for a third time, and I wish him the best of luck in fantasy football. Fantasy basketball is this real sport. That's coming up soon. It's coming up sooner than you think. Fantasy basketball and hockey. It is. My goodness, I think that's less than a month away. But at least hockey is. But that's it. No birthday shout-outs this week. So that's episode 33 of the JERRY1 podcast. Thank you, Justin Hlywa, for coming on. I wish you the best of luck. I've been Nick Valise. Set your lineup, and we'll see you on the next JERRY1 podcast.